Around. Let's get some prayer in and get after it. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, one God. Amen. Illumine our hearts, O Master, who loves mankind, with the pure light of your divine knowledge, and open the eyes of our mind to the understanding of your gospel teachings. Implant in us also the fear of your blessed commandments, that trampling down all carnal desires, we may enter upon a spiritual manner of living, both thinking and doing such things as are well-pleasing unto thee. For you are the illumination of our souls and bodies, O Christ our God, and unto thee do we ascribe glory together with the Father from everlasting, the all-holy, good, and life-giving Spirit, now and ever and unto ages of ages. Amen. Good morning. Glad to have you beautiful people with us. I am going to, let's see if I can get here live. I want to watch with you today because it's fun. And let's see, Greg, I think I got it. That's what's happening right now. Okay, good morning. Good to see you, beautiful people. Happy Wednesday. It's not a happy Wednesday. It's a miserable Wednesday. It's not miserable. Life is great. But I want to talk about what many of us, probably a lot of us, watched last night, and it is the debacle that was the presidential debate. And I was thinking about this as I was watching it last night and all night and all morning, so devastated. I'm so devastated that it went like it went, but I'm not surprised it went like it went, because you're going to see the point I want to make today is we're responsible for that. You and I are responsible for that. And look, let me just say it. You know that I'm not a voter. My king is somewhere else, but I do like President Trump. I think he's done a lot of great stuff. I'm fond of the policies that he's done. The policies that he's, enacted, the things that he's accomplished. He's a doer. For God's sakes, you can't say that he's not a doer. And I know people don't like him, and that's their prerogative. I like what he's doing. But man, I was disappointed yesterday. I was devastated with what I saw yesterday. It's funny because it's out of character for him. Listen, before you get all upset, if you look at videos of his interviews in years gone by, like I saw one in 1987 with him and David Letterman on the David Letterman show. It was like gentility par excellence. It was so nice to watch. It was refreshing. Even the media loved him. He was a media darling with The Apprentice. I mean, they loved him. Now, because of the public stuff that you see, like last night, he's not the greatest, he's not received with the greatest of open arms by all of the media. Obviously, we all know that. And I think we all have our reasons why. I'm not interested in those reasons why. Please don't post on my page today about anything political. Don't miss my point. I'm going to make it very strong and make it very clear. What happened to the gentility? And please remember, too, Vice President Biden was no better yesterday. He called the president, a clown. He told him to shut up. They were screaming back and forth. The moderator got sucked into the void, too. Everyone's pounding him as if he could have controlled that. These guys were unbelievable last night. And it dawned on me, what in the heck has happened to us? Look, I'm going to show you a clip. Greg's going to run a clip for us, which is a mashup of the presidential debate between Ronald Reagan and George Bush the first, right? The first president, George Bush, the father, George H.W. Wow, it's very different what it used to be like than what it is today. Greg, run that clip for us.
That is a major difference. There's plenty of others, but I do want to give the governor a chance to respond.
Governor? That is indeed a major difference.
He panicked or he just looked at the stock market. One of the two, because guess what? A lot of people died, and a lot more are going to die unless he gets a lot smarter.
If we would have listened to you, the country would have been left wide open. Millions of people would have died, not 200,000, and one person is too much. It's China's fault. It should have never happened.
Which we can't do on even terms today. I agree with that, but the difference we have is that
we'll close down the whole country and destroy our country. Our country is coming back incredibly well, setting records as it does it. We don't need somebody to come in and say, let's shut it down.
We handed him a booming economy. He blew it.
It'll be a disaster. I think, I agree with George, though. I think whatever he's going to get, he's probably going to take away from the Carter side more than from our side. And I know that I speak for George when I say we sure do miss him tonight, don't we?
Before, we have the highest trade deficit
China
with Mexico.
China ate your lunch, down 18%. China ate your lunch, Joe, and no wonder your son goes in and he takes out billions of dollars, to manage. He makes millions of dollars. And also,
Simply
while we're
not
at it,
true.
why
Simply
is
not.
it, just out of curiosity, the mayor of Moscow's wife gave your son $3.5 million.
That's
What
not
did he
true.
do to deserve it?
That
What
is
did he do with Burisma
none
to
of that
deserve
is
$183,000?
None
You've
of
asked
that
your
is
question,
true.
let him answer.
None of that is
They did agree on some very important things. I hope you kept note of that. But they didn't disagree as much as I wanted them to, which is very bad for showbiz, but probably...
How insane is that? How disparate is what you just witnessed between something that was 30 years ago, sorry, now 40 years ago, and something that just happened yesterday? I mean, like, it's two very different worlds. Pay attention to what the announcer said at the end of the Reagan-Bush clip. Did you hear what he said? Now, keep in mind, 40 years ago, you guys were so nice, you agreed more than I wanted you to, because you're fighting and brawling and clashing helps boost ratings, right? Powerful that even 40 years ago they knew what they were trying to do. Here's the problem. I'm not talking about Trump, and I'm not talking about Biden, and I'm not even talking about Reagan and Bush. And I know that President Reagan and President Bush ended up running together. It was the Republican primaries versus the general. I got all that kind of stuff. But I'm saying it's a very different world. And who's to blame? Right? Like, look, this is my point today. This is what I want to explore, and this is what I want to talk about. Who's to blame? And don't you dare say President Trump or Joe Biden. You and me. We are to blame, and I'll tell you why. Because we have allowed this stuff to creep forward, and we have participated in it. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to tell you honestly, and I'm sure that 99.9% of you think the same exact way. Why did we watch that debate last night? Like, why did we watch it? Everybody already has their mind made up who they're going to vote on. There's like 6 guys in the whole country that are on the fence, right? Everyone else, we already know. We've allowed ourselves to be divided. We're already on either team. You already know. And some of you may have already cast your votes, right, if you've done the mail-in stuff. So why did you watch it? For 2 reasons. One, you wanted to see if Vice President Biden could mentally hold it together. We all know he looks like he's struggling from dementia, so we wanted to see that freak show, if he could hold on, which he actually did better than I expected him to do. And the other reason we watched is to see if President Trump was going to be nice or rude to him, right? Like, you can say no and that I'm interested in the country and I wanted to see their policies. I know you're fooling nobody but yourself. We watched to see if Biden can handle it and how brutal was Trump going to be. That's why we watched it. The responsibility for that kind of stuff lies with you and I, because we not only allow that, we not only permit that, we consume that. Do you understand? This is the greatest message that I could deliver after that last night to Warrior Saints. And I'm hoping and begging you to share this all over the place. I'm begging you to share this, not because I'm great, I'm not, but because, man, I'm throwing pearls of truth out there right now. And we may not like them, and I may get a lot of hate comments on my feed, fine, because I'm not wrong. The gentility that has evaporated in this country is our responsibility, because we embrace that stuff. When do we reject that? Why does divisive, dichotomous polarization tactics work? Why do they work? Because we drink the Kool-Aid. If we as American people said, this ain't how we behave, we are behaving as warrior saints, as Christians, with gentility to outdo one another in honor, that stuff wouldn't play. Why do you think they do that, right? Like, this is my point about saying President Trump's earlier footage. Like, when he's off camera and he's not doing that stuff, he's just a normal dude. You could have a beer with him and enjoy his company, whether you agree with his policies or not. But when he gets on camera and he does all that stuff, why? Because you drink that Kool-Aid. Because you allow that stuff to be the only way that works, right? And it creeps. I'll talk about creep. Let me talk about the creep in a moment. But it's because we allow it and permit it. And you say, no, we don't have the power. Yes, you do. I want to give you an image, an example. A few years ago, I don't remember how many years, but there was like this terrifying time when all of the gas prices were going up, right? I don't know if you remember this. And I thought about it. I was like, everyone was like, oh my God, it's going to hit $5 a gallon. This wasn't even that long ago, like probably 5-7 years ago. Maybe more, I'm old, but it wasn't that long ago. And I thought, we can stop the gas price increase as a nation in one day. In one day. If the American people as a whole for one day said, none of us will buy gas. Not one person will buy gasoline today. None of us. 0 Americans bought gas. You better mark my words, the very next day gas prices would plummet. But we won't do it. We don't want to be bold and stand up for things that are right, and we don't want to stop the creep, the constant creep. We're mindless automata sometimes. And well, I need to get to work. So walk. Take a bus, take a cab, whatever. Why do you have to buy the gas that day? I bought gas. I mean, I did. But I was thinking if we were to do it, boom, one day gas prices would plummet. But we're not bold enough to do it. We're not brave enough to do it. We're not warriors, and we're certainly not warrior saints, right? That's what we're striving for. And I just thought, that's exactly what happened last night. It is the creep. That we call it the creep. That's what the Marxists and the Bolsheviks and all that ideology used to do back in the early to mid 20th century. They would say something uncomfortable and scoot towards you and make you uncomfortable. And you'd back up for the space, and then they just stay there for a little bit. And then a little bit later, they'd creep even a little closer, and you'd get uncomfortable and back up. But before you know it, the line has moved 10 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet, 50 feet, right? And that's what's happened with what we witnessed last night. What we witnessed last night is the new normal for political communication, right? That's just how it is. And it's not Trump's fault, and it's not Biden's fault, and it's not CNN's fault. It's your fault and my fault, because we have allowed that creep by accepting and not standing bold against that stuff. Do you understand? And look, we have also become, what's the opposite of gentility? Non-genteel? Whatever that word is. Jerks. Greg says jerks. I mean, we've become jerks too, right? What's the current phenomena? If you are on a political party and don't agree with me, I will cancel you, right? Take me off your feed. How many people have seen others, I know you've seen it, you've seen it. And it happens on Insta with the kids and Snap with the kids and Facebook with the adults. It's all over the place. If you don't like what I say, unfriend me now. What the hell is that? Unfriend you? Don't be your friend because we think differently about things? I don't understand that, right? I really don't get that. I mean, how boring is it to all think the same way, right? God, I would rather think differently and have you think at all than just be automata who spews what your team says. I don't want your empty thought. I want you to think. And I don't care if it's different. It's beautiful. It's fun. It's exciting. Let's debate and duke it out and be excited. But let's do so with gentility. And look, God's input on this is crystal clear. Crystal clear. There's no, it's not in any way vague, right? It's clear. Listen to this. Matthew 7. This is the Sermon on the Mount. You know this one. Whatever you wish that others would do to you, do also to them. For that's the law and the prophets. So do you like being assaulted and attacked? Of course not. Why did you do it to anyone else, right? It's golden rule stuff. It's real simple. Do unto others, right? It's very simple, and yet we don't do that. I remember there was footage, and I don't remember who, there was, what the point was. There was a lady sitting at a restaurant, an outdoor restaurant, having a meal one evening, and a group of rioters came by and started screaming and yelling at her. I don't even care what the heck they were talking about, but what are you doing, right? Why would we do that? Because gentility is gone. Listen to this beautiful verse from the Apostle Paul. This is Romans chapter 12. Love one another with brotherly affection. Outdo one another in showing honor. Outdo one another. Show more honor to the other person. Did you watch that clip from President Reagan and President Bush? Their first debate? No, it's you're right, George. No, Ronald, you're right. They were honoring one another. Last night, they were trying to tear one another down, right? It's brutal, and I think everybody caused us stress. Now, I want you all to take the opportunity to wake up. I'm not interested in who you vote for. I do not care. I know your mind has already been made up, and last night didn't change anything. I don't care. We saw, two idiots last night. I don't want either of them to be that way. One of them is, and either will remain or the other one will become the most powerful man in the world, like our leader. I don't want them to be that. I think we all want that. But recognize the point. Recognize the moment that we have in our hands before us. This is why I want you to share it. Imagine if all of us just said, enough. Imagine if all of us finally decided we're going to lead by thinking and not saying what everyone tells me to say, and by being honorable to other people, respectful to other people, allowing other people to disagree and to be heard rather than just shout over them. Do you understand how powerful that could be? The world, we might become what we want, right? America might become again what we want it to become, a peaceful place, right? I mean, there's no wars in the world right now. It's all internal. Like, it's like we don't live with a mindless war over there in Iraq that we read on the news. Oh, it's terrible, or in Afghanistan. It's at home, and we don't want that. We want the peace. We want the peace. I don't know what else to say. And it's our responsibility to make sure that we produce that peace by not permitting this chaos anymore. My opinion is, I mean, if I had my way, like, this is true, it's not going to happen, but if I had my way, not one American would vote this year. Not one. Zero. Stick it right to all of them and say, we are not interested in you as long as you behave like this, right? Like, I know we're not going to do that, and yes, you need to vote. I got it. But, like, we have permitted it, we've allowed the creep, and it's time that we stand up for it. Look, and that's a hard thing. It requires some serious leadership skills, right? Like, it requires us to be men and women. The first part of it is you got to think. And you know what? We're here to help you do that. That's why we grind every single day. We know. The Warrior Saint movement knows. There is no way to conquer what we saw last night and the rest of the days in the news all around our country and the world. If there's no way to conquer that if we are not living a life of the cross. I mean, that's it. The only way to conquer that is crucifixional living. That's it. We exist as the Warrior Saint movement to teach that. I mean, that's why it's there. That's why we keep begging you. Visit us at warriorsaints.org. Subscribe to The Way of the Warrior Saint. You know what it is. At this point, just if you don't know what it is, click the link and go look at the website. It'll tell you all of it. But it's just like teaching after teaching after teaching how to become strong men and women who lead. Men and women who actually put aside the garbage that we saw last night from both of those men and lead. And lead. And I'm not going to let you sit there. I love you, Warrior Saints, too much. I'm not going to let you sit there and say I have no say in the matter. Yes, you do. Absolutely you do. You have no say in the matter if you put yourself on the sidelines and if you don't take any responsibility for it and you continue to allow this creep forward of this chaos and permit all that garbage. Yeah, then you have no say and you're just automata. But I think you're bigger than that. I think you're better than that. And I know that because you are made in God's image, you have a say and you can have some power to move things forward. And so I'm begging you, for your sake, for the sake of the world, for the sake of the country, for the sake of humanity and the peace that we crave, join us today. Sign up for The Way of the Warrior Saint. I'm doing everything I can to make it accessible for you. There's a promo code out there that makes it 30% off. It doesn't cost anything anyways, for God's sakes. It's less than $1 a day. I mean, your coffee, right? It's double that, triple, quadruple that every single day. And you have no, you don't hesitate to do it. I'm making it accessible. I'm giving you free masks. I'm trying to tempt you with whatever I can, not because of any other reason than, they're great, by the way. Get it. You get it for free while we have a few left. I'm pushing it because it matters, and you have it in you to make a huge impact on all that stuff that we see out there. You have it. We're going to help you do it. So don't wait. Join The Way of the Warrior Saint right now. Do it. I don't care. Just do it. You can, and if you have problems with it, you reach out to us. We'll help you make it happen. Do it. Lastly, would you share us? Father Chris was on fire today. I'm actually sweating because I was like riled up. But I care about all of it. I care about you. I care about my family. I care about this country that we live in. I care about our world. And you know what? We just have to stop saying, well, what can we do? Let's do. Let's make it happen. Today we can do that. Share us. Let's keep this movement growing. Visit us at warriorsaints.org. Sign up for The Way of the Warrior Saint. God bless and keep you. Pray for us as we do for you. And we will see you tomorrow again. Keep walking.